You've been lied to. Think that annoying mole on your shoulder just packed its bags and left, giving you a free, pain-free removal. Think again. Most people see a disappearing mole and cheer, assuming it's a benign cosmetic miracle. But here's the unsettling truth: your body doesn't just perform spontaneous mole vanishes for fun. In reality, that vanishing act isn't a magic trick. It's often a frantic SOS from your immune system. It might be fighting off something truly dangerous, like melanoma, a serious form of skin cancer. Your body isn't cleaning up, it's clearing a crime scene. Don't fall for the lie that a disappearing mole is good news. It could be the ultimate red flag your skin is waving. But your body's warning signals don't stop there. Get ready for number 9, because this one will mess with your appetite in the worst way imaginable. Imagine this: you grab your morning coffee, expecting that rich, comforting aroma, but instead, it smells like a portable toilet, or you're about to bite into a delicious piece of bacon, only for it to taste like it came straight out of a dumpster. Welcome to the bizarre and unsettling world of Pausmia, where your nose, your trusty guide to deliciousness, suddenly becomes your worst enemy. This isn't just a bad batch of food, it's your brain literally hitting the delete button on your smell dictionary and rewriting every single definition to disgusting. Your smell neurons, those tiny little wires in your head, are crossing paths. Coffee gets wired to garbage. Chocolate might link to sewage. It sounds wild, but remember, about 80% of what you perceive as taste is actually smell. So when your nose goes rogue like this, eating isn't just unappealing, it becomes a genuine nightmare. People experiencing Pausmia have described eating chicken that smells horrifyingly like a corpse. The terrifying part is the implications. Beyond making mealtime unbearable, this condition can be dangerous. If your nose can't tell the difference between coffee and a latrine, how will it detect a gas leak? Or if that carton of milk in your fridge has gone bad, it's a huge problem. This rewiring of your senses often happens because your delicate smell nerves have been damaged. Maybe it was something seemingly simple, like a severe sinus infection or a more serious head injury. As these nerves try to repair themselves, they sometimes get their wires crossed, leading to these utterly repulsive misinterpretations. So, if your favorite food suddenly starts smelling like they've been filtered through Satan's armpit, that's your body waving a big, undeniable red flag. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a sign that something is fundamentally out of whack with one of your most vital senses. Speaking of red flags, here's another one your body might be waving, often right there on your hands. Number 8, the drumstick finger warning. Ever taken a good look at your fingertips? Seriously, check them out right now. Are they looking a little wider? Perhaps puffy? Do your nails curve downwards, almost like tiny spoons? If so, your body might be giving you a serious heads up about something called finger clubbing. Normally, the skin right under your nail is firm and snug, but with clubbing, that nail bed gets strangely soft and spongy, almost like your fingernail is floating on a waterbed, and those fingertips, they get larger, often redder and warmer to the touch, starting to resemble little drumsticks. This isn't just a quirky genetic trait, it's your body's way of screaming that something's wrong. And most often, it means your blood isn't carrying enough oxygen. Think of it this way: your body, in a desperate attempt to fix this oxygen shortage, starts growing extra tiny blood vessels and tissue right there in your fingertips. That's what causes all that swelling and that weird, curved shape. Here's the truly terrifying part: what's causing that lack of oxygen in the first place? A whopping 80% of finger clubbing cases are linked to serious lung problems or severe heart conditions. Yeah, I know, that's a big one. Want to do a super quick self-check? It's called the Shamroth window test. Simply press the fingernails of your 2 index fingers together, back to back. In a healthy hand, you should see a tiny, diamond-shaped gap of light peeking through right between your cuticles. If your nails are clubbed, that little diamond window will disappear completely. The clubbing itself isn't painful, which is why it can be easy to ignore. But consider it a flashing red light on your body's dashboard. If you notice your nails starting to take on this drumstick-like appearance, don't brush it off. Make an appointment with your doctor. Your body is trying to warn you about something potentially very serious. Alright, moving on to another one of your body's subtle alarms. Number 7, the ring in your eye. Imagine looking in the mirror one morning and noticing a strange, pale, greyish ring circling the coloured part of your eye. You might think, Is this a new contact lens trick? A fashion statement I didn't sign up for? Nope. It's actually fat. Yeah, you heard that right. Your body apparently ran out of prime storage real estate for cholesterol and decided your eyeballs were a perfectly good place to stash some away. The medical term for this phenomenon is corneal Arcus. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What this ring means actually depends on how old you are. If you're over 60, this particular ring is called Arcus senilis. Think of it as basically grey hair for your eyeballs. It's super common, almost 100% of people over 80 have it, and usually, it's nothing to worry about, just a normal part of aging. But, and this is a big but, if you're under 50 and you spot this mysterious ring, your body is absolutely trying to tell you something important. This younger version is called Arcus juvenilis, and it can be a significant sign that your cholesterol levels might be dangerously high for your age. In fact, it can be a powerful predictor of heart disease down the line. The ring itself isn't going to mess with your vision, it just sits there, minding its own business, while also being a total snitch about your cholesterol levels. It's like your eyes are trying their best to give you an early warning signal about something potentially serious brewing inside. So, if you're on the younger side and you catch a glimpse of this greyish ring around your iris, don't just shrug it off. It's definitely worth a conversation with your doctor to get those cholesterol levels checked out. Your eyes might just be trying to save your heart a whole lot of trouble. Okay, so your eyes can be snitches about your cholesterol, but what about your body's entire internal navigation system? Moving on to number 6, your body's broken GPS. Imagine this, you're grabbing your arm, convinced you've just pulled a muscle, maybe from lifting something heavy, or just sleeping in a weird position. But what if, instead, your heart is actually having a full-blown meltdown? Or think about that brain freeze from a super cold slushie. The cold never actually touches your forehead. Right. Yet your brain is absolutely convinced that's where the problem is. That's your body's internal GPS having a serious moment. This confusing phenomenon is called referred pain, and it's essentially your nervous system playing a really important, but sometimes very misleading, game of telephone. See, your internal organs, like your heart, liver, or kidneys, actually share the same nerve highways with your skin and muscles. So, when an organ deep inside finally speaks up because something's wrong, your brain gets a bit confused. Instead of pinpointing the exact location, it often assigns the pain to a more familiar, external spot. It's like your body is trying to send a crucial SOS signal, a big red warning about something serious, but it's accidentally sending the message to the wrong department. For example, that crushing pain you might feel in your left arm during a heart attack, that's your heart screaming for help. But your brain misinterprets it and blames your arm. Similarly, a sharp pain at the tip of your left shoulder could be a sign of issues with your spleen. Pain in your right shoulder, that might be your liver or gallbladder acting up. And that persistent dull ache in your lower back could actually be your kidneys trying to get your attention. So, if you ever experience weird, persistent pain in your chest, shoulders, arms, or even your back, especially if it doesn't seem to have a clear external cause, do not ignore it. Your body is definitely trying to tell you something, and it's always better to get it checked out. Okay, so we've talked about your body's internal GPS going a bit haywire, sending signals to the wrong department, but what if your body's communication is even more subtle, like making something disappear right before your eyes? Let's move on to number 5, a mole's vanishing act. Imagine this. One day you're just going about your business, maybe showering, and you notice that mole that's always been on your shoulder is just gone. Poof, vanished. Your first thought might be, awesome, free mole removal, no more worrying about that. But hold on, because your body might actually be playing a very serious trick on you. See, moles don't just pack up their tiny bags and leave. When a mole disappears, it's usually for one of two reasons. The first, and less concerning, is that your immune system decided a perfectly normal mole was an enemy and attacked it. This sometimes leads to a white ring forming around the mole before it fades away, leaving a lighter patch of skin. This is called a halo nevus, and while it's worth noting, it's usually benign. However, sometimes a mole vanishes for a much more sinister reason. Your immune system detected something truly dangerous, like melanoma, a severe form of skin cancer. In this scenario, your body is actively fighting it off, and the disappearing mole is essentially the crime scene of that battle. Just because the mole shrinks or disappears from the surface doesn't mean the fight is over or that you've won. those cancer cells could have already spread silently beneath the skin. Dermatologists use a simple checklist called the ABCDEs to keep an eye on moles. A is for asymmetry, Bas is for an irregular border, Yiga is for uneven color, Yida is for diameter larger than a pencil eraser, and Yiba is for evolving, which means any change at all. And get this, a disappearing mole is considered the ultimate evolution. So, if you ever see a mole doing a vanishing act, don't just shrug it off as a lucky break. Get it checked out by a doctor immediately. It could be one of the most critical signals your body sends. So, we've covered signals that are disappearing acts, like a vanishing mole. But what about something that appears out of nowhere, leaving you in a literal puddle? Let's move on to number 4, the night sweats mystery. Picture this. You wake up at 3 AM and you're completely soaked. Your t-shirt and sheets feel like you just went for a midnight swim, not like you were sleeping peacefully in your bed. This isn't just about feeling a little warm, it's your body hosting its own private water park while you're completely out cold. Doctors have a name for this, night sweats. And we're not talking about just sweating a bit because your room is too hot. True night sweats are when you wake up drenched, even if your room is cool and comfortable. Sometimes, the reason for these drenching episodes can be pretty simple. Maybe your mattress isn't breathable enough, or you're dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety. Even many common medications can mess with your internal thermostat, causing you to sweat more than usual. These are usually benign explanations. However, there are more serious signals your body might be trying to send. Think about when you're fighting an infection, your body cranks up the heat with a fever. When that fever finally breaks, your body goes from being a furnace to a fire hose, trying to cool itself down rapidly. Hormones can also be a culprit, especially during menopause or if you have thyroid issues. But here's the really important part. If you're regularly waking up absolutely soaked, your body is seriously trying to tell you something. Persistent night sweats, especially if they come with unexplained weight loss or extreme tiredness, can be early warning signs of serious underlying conditions. This includes certain types of cancers, which can make your body produce chemicals that essentially crank up your internal thermostat. Your system then goes into overdrive, desperately trying to cool down by turning you into a human water fountain. So, don't just dismiss it as being a hot sleeper. This is a soggy signal you absolutely shouldn't ignore. If you find yourself consistently waking up drenched, even when your room is cool, it's a good idea to bring it up with your doctor. So, we've talked about signals that leave you in a puddle, but what about something that just appears on your body, giving you a very visual, if slightly odd, heads up? Let's dive into number 3, those weird yellow bumps. Imagine this, you wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and there it is, a strange yellowish bump, maybe on your eyelid, or perhaps it's on your elbow, your knee, your hands, feet, or even your backside. These aren't just random skin blemishes. That little bump is actually your body waving a red flag about your cholesterol. These peculiar bumps are called Xanthomas. Think of them as tiny pockets of fat that got a little lost in your bloodstream and decided to set up camp right under your skin. When you have too much fat, specifically cholesterol circulating in your blood, it's like a massive traffic jam. Some of that excess fat ends up crashing into your skin, forming these distinct bumps. They can vary in size, from as tiny as a grain of rice to surprisingly large, sometimes growing up to 3 inches wide. Now, the bumps themselves usually won't hurt you or cause any discomfort, but here's the crucial part. They are essentially a check engine light for your arteries. That seemingly harmless little bump on your elbow could be a very urgent alert from your heart, screaming about dangerously high cholesterol levels. On top of that, these fatty lumps can also be a sign of other serious underlying issues, like uncontrolled diabetes or problems with your pancreas. The good news is that if you manage to get your cholesterol levels under control, these bumps often can shrink and even completely disappear. But the first step is knowing they're there and understanding what they mean. So, if you spot one of these yellowish blobs appearing on your body, don't just ignore it or assume it's nothing. Show it to your doctor. That small bump might just be the only thing standing between you and your arteries turning into a literal grease trap. So we've uncovered what those weird yellow bumps might be telling you, but what about a signal that affects how you communicate with the world? Let's move to number 2, the never-ending raspy voice. Picture this, you wake up one morning, try to say hello, and your voice sounds like you've been gargling with gravel. It's rough, it's scratchy, and it just doesn't sound like, "You are annoying," right? But what if that gravelly voice sticks around, weeks go by, and your voice is still stubbornly gone, or at least really, really hoarse? That's your body trying to send you a very clear, albeit annoying, message. Think of your vocal cords like two tiny guitar strings. They vibrate to make sound. If your voice stays raspy for weeks, it means something is messing with those delicate strings. Sometimes, it's something relatively minor, like seasonal allergies acting up, or perhaps some stomach acid quietly sneaking up while you sleep. Hello, acid reflux. Other times, you might develop small bumps on your vocal cords, called polyps, which rough up your sound. But here's where it gets more serious. Occasionally, a vocal cord might just stop working because the nerve controlling it has been damaged. And in some more concerning cases, that persistent raspy voice can actually be one of the earliest warning signs of laryngeal cancer. Doctors have a very simple, straightforward rule about this. If you've had a raspy voice for 2 weeks or more, it's time to get it checked out. They'll likely use a tiny camera to take a good look down your throat to see exactly what's going on. Don't just shrug off that persistent croak. It could be an important heads up from your body. Alright, let's talk about the ultimate check engine light. We've just explored how your voice can be a serious messenger, but what about when a part of your body literally loses sensation and stays that way? Let's dive into our final crucial signal. Number 1. When your limbs fall asleep and never truly wake up. You know the feeling, right? You wake up and your arm is this weird, useless meat noodle, broadcasting nothing but static. That pins and needles sensation is usually just your nerves rebooting after being squashed or in an awkward position, a quick shake, and you're back to normal. But what if your arm stays in permanent static mode? What if it's been 3 weeks and your hand still feels tingly, numb, or just off? That's your body's check engine light flashing bright red, indicating something much more serious. Persistent pins and needles or prolonged numbness means your nerves are consistently being damaged, starved, or even attacked. Your nerves could be starved from a severe vitamin B12 deficiency. Without B12, the crucial protective coating on your nerves gets damaged, much like an electrical wire with its rubber insulation chewed off. Or a nerve could be permanently trapped, causing constant pressure and disruption, as seen in conditions like carpal tunnel syndrome. It can also be one of the very first signs of diabetes. High blood sugar acts like a slow-acting poison for your nerves, gradually wearing them down over time. In some more complex cases, your own body might be the attacker. In diseases like multiple sclerosis, your immune system mistakenly targets and attacks the protective sheath around your nerves, leading to widespread neurological issues. If your limb has felt asleep for weeks, don't just try to shake it off and hope it goes away. That persistent tingling or numbness isn't just an annoyance, it's a vital SOS signal from your nervous system. Get it checked out by a doctor immediately. So, it turns out the world is full of these little surprises, huh? Things you thought you knew, flipped upside down in the most chill way possible. Seriously, some of these facts really make you pause and go, wait, what? Which fact surprised you the most? Stay curious. See ya.